Hello, I'm once again going to be showing you some ways you can use commutators during F2L, but this time I will be focused on edge commutators. This one's a bit more theoretical, but I think sometimes it can make for some really cool solutions. And I think it would be pretty awesome to see top 3x3 solvers implement this stuff into their solves. So if you're familiar with freestyle, the method that most advanced solvers use to do blind, you can cycle 3 edges of one piece type. So for 3x3 solving, edge comms that cycle 3 edges in the top 2 layers are most applicable, because when we have the cross already solved, our bottom layer edges are done. So the most basic example is where we have one edge that needs to be inserted into its slot. So from this orientation, the alg looks like that. But let's say we have the other orientation. The most common way to do it is inserting RE to R prime, doing that interchange and undoing. I actually prefer a different alg, at least in blindfolded solves. Mine looks like this. You don't have to restrict yourself to just one, and often it's nice to just do a more traditional solution, like maybe something like that. But the reason that algs like the ones I showed you can be pretty useful is that they don't affect that many pieces. So they're good algs, and they're very good for look ahead, because you can see what you're influencing and try to figure out what's gonna give you the best continuation on the spot. Well, I just want to separately show what you can do if you have an edge that needs to be inserted into a back slot. From this orientation, you have a few good options. One of them looks like this. Another one you can do is this. By mirroring these algs I showed, you can apply them to all 4 F2L slots, regardless of what orientation the edge is in. But where the really cool stuff comes into play is multi-slotting. So let's say we have this edge that needs to go into this slot, and we happen to see that this is the red-blue edge. This is a very specific circumstance, because we would also have to already know that this corner back here is solved to justify solving this edge at the same time. But there are a lot of cases like this, so even though the individual cases don't come up very, very frequently, it could still make for a pretty cool solve every once in a while. So in this case, we can do an L prime to set up to a pure commutator here to here to here, do that pure comm, and then undo the setup move. And that solves both those pairs at the same time. And if the edges are different orientations, like let's say this one was like this instead, you could just do a different comm corresponding to whatever case you have. The last category I wanted to cover is cases where all 3 of the edges are in the E layer. The simplest example is a 4-move comm like this, all oriented correctly, just in the wrong spots. You can even do something like this, an alg that swaps 2 pairs of 2 edges. Not a 3-style commutator, but kind of similar in nature. Occasionally you might have a use for that. If, let's say, even if these 2 pairs were all like, random messed up stuff, maybe you want to use that solution to solve these 2 pairs. There are some less trivial examples that might come up like this. For stuff like that, you can just do a different comm. Alright, I hope you found this interesting. See ya.